this is crazy, thinking how we came from taking a word that simply meant the status of people. If you remember, we were talking about the fourth estate. The first estate was being the commoner. So this now has turned the commoner into someone who is corrupt or mischievous. It really has changed how words were um, used against people. Yeah, someone says, I had no idea all these words were changed so much. Absolutely. It happens so subtly over time that you don't realize the word is drifting away. There are people like me and other purists who say, that's not the right way to use that word. And nobody listens because they're in this cultural chasm that just moves this change forward. But especially like with this word villain, these people weren't necessarily immoral or wicked, but their status, because they were lower class, they were considered inferior by the nobility and the clergy. Remember the other classes in those in the four estates we talked about. And as storytelling became more important in writings, they were frequently depicting these commoners in all these writings as being villains. And so that's how it became, these were morally questionable people, and they were contrasted against the nobility and the higher classes. They were the evil ones. And so this constantly was being reinforced in things like religious texts and other things that were associated with less civilized people. And we now have completely shifted this. So we have a social prejudice against people who are villains. And it's a huge change in the dynamics of language. And it completely goes against the classical assumption of what the word means, even though we don't use it in the common context for now. But it is truly such a shift from what it was, what the word meant, to what we use now. And again, we need to rethink these things because they are social constructs. And we're at a time that I think we're ready to break down social constructs and rebuild society using language as it's meant to be. And so I think it's really important for us to know that language can be sacred, and we need to use it in a fashion that communicates clearly what our intent is.